this is Christine Thompson with AM/FM Magazine. I'm here with Gunnar Wright, actor extraordinaire.
Hey guys, I'm Gunnar Wright. We're here at Fantastic Fest in Austin, Texas at a place called the Highball. And we're in this backstage karaoke tiki bar room, as you can tell. And the craziness is getting ready to happen. Love's going to screen here in a couple hours, and then I think I'm going to be on stage doing some Van Halen. I'm not quite sure yet, but we're going to give it a shot.
Gunnar, tell me about the movie Love and how it developed.
Well, Love started off as almost a pet project between Tom DeLonge, who is the frontman for Blink-182 and Angels and Airwaves, and a young filmmaker named William Eubank, who I worked with previously on a rogue TV pilot.
Gunnar's great. I mean, he had a really hard role in a sense that he was acting like all by himself the majority of the time. So it's not easy to do that as an actor, and I think he, really pulled it off. So
Tom had found Will's work online and had talked to Will about doing these 10 video vignettes to accompany an album at the time called I Empire through Angels and Airwaves, and it was basically about an astronaut who gets left up in space.
Will, the director, was really interested in getting somebody that had that kind of Kubrickian, all-American kind of appeal that 2001 kind of had. You know, we were paying homage to the early sci-fi films of that era, and it seemed that we needed somebody that wasn't too one way or the other, but was somebody that could show vulnerability, but also relate to the common person, but also kind of be a good-looking guy at the same time, you know. So, but as far as his skill set, I'll tell you straight up that Will was the one that identified that. That was awesome.
When I heard astronaut, the 9-year-old came out at me, and said, "Sure, I don't even care what the script says. Let's just go shoot." But they elaborated and talked about it, and it was really big themes, big scopes of a storyline, and we tackled it. September of 2007 is when we started to shoot the film, and 4.5 years later, it was finished. So there are some ancillary characters, but for the most part, I didn't have really anybody to being left on the ISS space station for 7 years. I didn't really have anybody to act off of, so I relied heavily on Will Eubank, the director, to almost be my co-star. There's some visions, there's some people that you don't know if they're real or if they're fake, but for the most part, in the film, outside of some Civil War battle scenes and a few other characters, it's mainly my character, Captain Lee Miller. So it may be a little more moody, like 2001: Space Odyssey. There's some references, or maybe like Solaris, in that feel. But I know that I did watch Castaway a couple of times just to see how Tom Hanks transferred from kind of that sane FedEx worker to to almost a crazed survivor. And that was a big question too, is, all right, so this is a NASA astronaut that's left on ISS. No one knows why, no one knows what's happening on Earth. So how does this guy deal with that solitude? How does he deal with that loneliness? How crazy does he get? So we didn't want to push that envelope too much, because we felt like this guy's pretty grounded. He's a NASA astronaut. There's things that he has to do. There's procedures that he has to make sure things are running.
What I want to know about is, what is this about love? Okay.
Well, for the film, love is a much larger universal theme in our picture. It's not just my character that is expressing that and feeding that to the audience. It's almost like my character is a conduit to a much bigger universal scope of what love means, not just to me, but to the audience. So, yeah, my character has his typical struggles with certain emotions, but yet, towards the end of the film, a lot of things take a larger sci-fi cinematic theme, and it's really up to the audience to interpret what that love means to them. But it's an uplifting film that I think that everyone's going to walk away feeling good and finding something within them that evokes that emotion.
So that's what you hope for the audience to take away from this?
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. All right, let's talk a little bit about some of your upcoming projects.
Yeah, well, let's see. Love, 4.5 years of my life. Now that's done. We just did J. Edgar with Clint Eastwood and Leonardo DiCaprio. I play a young Dwight Eisenhower, which was just to work with Mr. Eastwood was a dream come true. And that's going to come out, I think, November the 9th. It's getting a lot of Oscar buzz, and rightfully so. I know that Leonardo DiCaprio knocked it out of the park. He plays J. Edgar. Huge ensemble cast. Let's see, I've got a couple other projects that we haven't, the ink's still wet on the contracts, but if that goes through, then I'll be shooting another film in February. So it's been a really great year for me, and this is just icing on the cake.
What do you want to say?
You know, I think as an artist, when you do something passionately and you don't necessarily expect anything in return, especially an outcome, there's just something that no one can take that away from you. And I know that for me as an actor, this was my first leading man role with Love, with the director Will Eubank. He had been a cinematographer before, but this was his first time directing the film. And to stretch it even further, the executive producer Tom DeLonge had really never scored a movie before. So we were all stretching our artistic abilities passionately for a film and a project that we didn't really know where it was going to go once it ended. And 7 film festivals later, here we are in Austin, Texas. And it just goes to show you that no matter what you want to do as an artist, as long as you have that passion and that fire, you're going to succeed. And you're going to do it in a way where it's yours. You own it. No one can take that away from you.
When you get into a situation where absolutely nothing's in your control, it makes you wonder.
The space station itself has been empty for a long time, right? I mean, so when you get there, there's going to be housework to do.
Hello, Lee. Sorry, Sam, this message is recorded. Even if I wanted to bring you out of orbit, I don't have the people to do it.
You can plan life, but yet it doesn't mean it's going to happen.
If something like that ever did happen, everybody stopped talking, everybody stopped telling stories, everybody stopped relating. I think it'd be a horrible world.
If you don't talk to anybody, you don't interact with anybody, your whole sense of reality is pretty warped.
Journal of Captain Lee Briggs.